in St. Louis. Temperatures in the low 90s. Big crowd on hand. The Cubs are in town, and here's their batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. David DeJesus is the center fielder. Starlin Castro, Anthony Rizzo, Alfonso Soriano, very good of late. He'll be in left field. Lajer, Soto, Barney, Valbuena, and the pitcher, Matt Garza. For St. Louis, the veteran, Jake Westbrook.
Jake, one game under 500 in his career. He is 500, 92 and 92. 1-0 against the Cubs this year. Leads the National League with his 2.54 ground ball to fly ball ratio. Almost 72% of the time he will throw a ground ball.
Enterprise Bank and Trust bringing you Jake's numbers. Looking for a lot of those ground balls here tonight. And he's going to need some help from the defense behind him. In the outfield from left to right, Holiday, Jay, and Beltran. Infielders very important for Jake. Freeze for Call, Schumacher, and Berkman. Yadier Molina will put down the signals. Our Dobbs Cardinals defense. Cardinals a nice win in game one. Behind Kyle Loesch, they won yesterday 4-1. After a very tough road trip, and this game is underway. Westbrook delivering a fastball on the inside corner, strike one.
That game last night, and particularly the start by Kyle Loesch, made you forget about that road trip very quickly. I think that game last night was more indicative of the Cardinals and what they can do. And of late, they've had very good starting pitching. That really sets a tone. Jesus has had some success against Westbrook. 8 for 29 with a home run.
Forgetting about the road trip makes me think of Jason Isringhausen. Many other players have said it, Al, but talks about how important it is to have a short memory.
If you're in the bullpen,
especially,
you better have one short memory. But and I think now you're starting to hear the players talk with a little urgency. Not that they can't make up the ground, but I think they feel like they're underachieving, and I think that's a pretty good word.
Late swing from DeJesus, who's hit very well at Busch Stadium in his career. 365 are his numbers here at Busch.
Been a pretty good hitter against St. Louis overall.
Here's the defense. Average depth in the outfield. No shift yet, but we'll see plenty of those shifts throughout the course of this ball game. Westbrook looking to even his record at 8-8. Probably could be better than that. Lost his last time out. Didn't deserve it.
Lost the last two. And 2 starts ago, and only allowed 2 earned runs. And there was only 2 runs, and 1 of them was unearned. Derek Lilquist has to be very happy what he's seen from the starting pitching of late.
Payoff pitch. Grounded to the right side. That's Schumacher. That's Berkman. Ground ball, Westbrook. Probably goes into a game wanting 27 of those.
And with his stuff, he's capable of it. Every so often you're going to find a hole, but it is surprising that he hasn't had more success.
Starlin Castro, 2-time All-Star, has hit .316 in his career against Westbrook, and he's hit the Cardinals well. Very good young player. Ground ball up the middle. Tough play for Call, and it scoots under his glove. We have our first hit of the night.
You're talking about ground balls, and a certain percentage are going to go through, but you never really worry because the next ground ball could produce a double play. Get out of the inning. Just beyond the reach, playing in the corner a little bit. Castro was hitting under 200 this month, as the Cubbies have won 14 of the last 20 games. So He hadn't been swinging the bat well, but this guy has.
This guy is Anthony Rizzo. Came over from the San Diego Padres, has a very interesting batting style. Very relaxed at the plate. Cubs very high on him. And that's why.
Rizzo is playing in just his 20th ball game, has 5 game-winning hits already. And the outside pitch, good piece of hitting, go where it's pitched. Don't be pull conscious, and Rizzo does use the entire field.
Not a bad location for Westbrook.
No, up a little bit, but easier to hit down on that ball and get a ground ball.
That brings in Alfonso Soriano, who's really struggled against Westbrook.
He struggled against Westbrook, a 111 average, 3 for 27. Soriano, the first 30 games, did not have a home run. Homered May 15th off of Jason Mott, and he's hit 17 since then. That's second most in the National League, third most in major leagues.
Big swing and a miss from Soriano. He does not have the speed that he once had. Makes him certainly a double play threat here. But he does have that power. And to me, he's a guy that really hits mistakes well.
Cripples hitter.
Exactly. There's a ground ball to the left side. Freese has it to second for one. On to first. Not in time. Ball not hit hard enough to be able to turn two. Still a pretty close play at first. Well turned at second by Schumacher.
Skip has that very strong outfield arm playing second base now. And here's what you're talking about. Not hard hit. Took too many steps for Freese to get over there and cut it off. And then with Rizzo barreling down on Skip, he didn't have much behind the throw, but Soriano runs still well enough to beat that out.
Brian LaHare was an all-star this season for the first time. He has struck out 91 times, so he has some holes.
But Westbrook hadn't figured him out yet. He's 3 for 3, including a home run. LaHare has 5 of his 14 home runs against Cardinal pitching.
That's when you throw the book away and you start a new book.
Well, we kind of commented last night, Dan and I, that LaHare was voted in by the players to the All-Star team, and you never knew the Cardinals had that many votes. They're the only ones that seen him really hit like an All-Star.
Cubs are going to be playing 25 of their next 31 games in the Central Division, so they're going to find out just who they are, and they're going to have a chance to be a spoiler too.
They're playing good baseball right now, so they can jump up and help the Cardinals out. Just the Cardinals have to take care of their own business.
The 2-0. Good changeup from Westbrook. The shift is on the right side as Schumacher is on the grass, a little bit deep. For Call playing still to the shortstop side of second base, but he's certainly playing him to pull and Freeze off the line.
Play him to pull in the infield and straight away maybe even shade a little bit the opposite field in the outfield.
That changeup misses the outside corner, 3-1.
Seems like if you have a good sinker, one of the best pitches to complement that would be a changeup. The hair has not been hot of late.
Fastball low. He walks him. And I wonder if he cares too much about that, given the 3 for 3 you were talking about, and Giovanni Soto on deck, who is struggling offensively this year. He's kind of been the hitter in his career. He either has a good year or a bad year. He kind of has, it's kind of all or nothing for him.
And does not hit very well on the road. Well, of course, when you're batting 191, where do you hit? But he is 4 for 9 off of Westbrook.
I think home and road are the only possibilities.
Maybe in his dreams he's a much better hitter.
Bases full of Cubs. Castro, Soriano, and LaHair.
I think you're right. Westbrook didn't mind walking LaHair, but you got to make sure you get the next hitter out.
And a bad start towards that, and Molina's going to want to talk to the right-hander.
Well, you talked about it earlier, Vic, that he has cut down his walks this year. Sometimes his ball just moves so much and through the strike zone and out of it. But when you are forced to kind of elevate your ball to pitch more in the strike zone, and a sinker baller becomes less effective. And not a good start. Ball strike ratio. But one ground ball and you forget about it.
The 2-0. Now 3-0. Westbrook walked 73 batters in 183 innings last year, which is entirely too much for a sinker ball pitcher.
Looks like he's had trouble with the mound 2 or 3 times. He's looked back as if his cleats are catching or slipping.
Boy, that can get in your head too, can it? The 3-0 is a strike. This year, only 29 walks for Westbrook in 113 innings. That's an outstanding ratio. Needs a strike here. The 3-1. Grounded foul. So everybody will be moving. 3-2, 2 outs. Top of the first. Jake Westbrook. Who knows? Maybe his evening will hinge on this pitch right here.
It could. Remember how early the Cardinals struck 3 runs in the first?
Ground ball up the middle. Percal has it. And on to first. And Westbrook gets out of it. Comes up with the pitch he needs. Top of the order for St. Louis when we come back. Sometime become friends. That happens from time to time here in the midst of this rivalry. Here's the Cardinals batting order brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Rafael Furcal back in the leadoff spot. He'll be followed by Schumacher, then Holiday, Beltran, Molina, Berkman in the middle. David Freese, very hot of late. John Jay back in the lineup. He bats 8th, and Jake Westbrook will pitch and bat 9th. There's another divided family.
About 3 of them. Another interesting character on the mound. Matt Garza, 5-7 ERA over 4. Pitches much better at home at Wrigley Field than he does on the road. They say he's kind of one of those creatures that he likes to control everything. Everything is kind of beyond his control. Start time, when he takes the mound, all the things when it's on the road, and he has a hard time dealing with it. Last time the Cardinals saw him, he pitched very well in a no decision, but it was about 40 degrees.
Cubs are 10th in the National League in defense. They've had some problems up the middle with Castro's 13 errors. He and Barney patrol the middle. Rizzo and Valbuena at the corners. Soto the catcher. Dobbs, Cubs defense. Soriano hasn't made an error in left field all season long. How about that? Very good.
And their defense has been much better of late. Corresponding with their winning, they have a .992 fielding percentage in 17 games since June 27th. That's the best fielding percentage in the National League and 3rd best in the majors.
0-1 to Furcal. Their hot fielders on the right side. Darwin Barney has gone 79 games without an error at second base. And in case you're wondering, the record for Major League Baseball, 186 games without an error. So he's got a ways to go. Ground ball to short. Castro throws out for call.
Garza basically is a power pitcher, fastball slider, incorporated occasional changeup, but he likes to pitch very aggressively, usually attacks the hitters. Pitches inside an awful lot. And one of the reasons why Schumacher's in the lineup again is 6 for 11 off of Garza.
Castro again, showing off his arm. Garza off to a good start here tonight, but he has really struggled pitching on the road. The split's very, very telling.
Look at the home runs.
14 home runs on the road. Our Toyota keys to the game. He's just been much better at home.
Yeah, 567 versus 212 at Wrigley, where some people find it difficult to pitch.
That photo with the smile must have been taken at home. That's what they do. Fastball misses to Matt Holliday, and how about the home run he hit yesterday? You and I both agree that we need to remeasure that one.
Well, especially when you're trying to tell me that it was only 4 feet further than the one that Pujols hit. That looked like 100. His landed up in those silver chairs, and Pujols landed down there in the lower deck, you know, in the up above the green section there, above the Dobbs and Shop and Safe sign. But Mark McGuire said he thought it should be remeasured. One of the reasons he said is that ball never came out of there. He was wondering if there was a hole in the brick wall.
Are we sure it landed?
He thinks it landed, but he thinks it went through the brick wall out there.
Holliday walks. And he's done that 44 times this season. Both he and Carlos Beltran very knowledgeable of the strike zone. Beltran's been stuck on 20 home runs for quite some time.
This next one will be a nice achievement for him. It'll be number 200 of his National League career. Like we said, a lot of times these guys are going to see something hard, whether it's a fastball or it's a slider. And he has a tendency to pitch more inside than away.
Slow ground ball hit to Barney. Fields it flawlessly. We're through one. No score today. Jake Westbrook back to work. Bottom of the order for the Cubs. And a good sinker to Darwin Barney at 268. Cubs pretty set up the middle for what their future is going to be with Barney and Castro. Slow roller. Burkall's been busy.
Like the aspect that ground ball after ground ball.
Westbrook has 4 of them. Garza has 3. Luis Valbuena spent some time in the big leagues with Seattle and then Cleveland. And they were really thinking he was going to be a guy with pop, and found that he was a little bit more of a gap hitter than a power hitter. And it's tough to be that when you're playing third base. That's a place where you expect power, you expect big numbers. He's getting a shot here.
Yeah, they're very pleased with him defensively, and they said his average a little deceptive because come up with big hits.
Line drive to left. Matt Holliday makes the play. He's been steady in left field.
He's much improved defensively since Holliday first arrived. He's worked at it. remember 2 years ago, Dave McKay, who is now a first base coach with the Chicago Cubs, felt that Holiday should have been in consideration for a Gold Glove.
Well, I know Dave worked Matt Holiday very hard in spring training and throughout the year, and Dave was really trying to work with Colby Rasmus too, but Holiday became the leader of that. Said, I'll work hard. I'll show Colby how to work hard. And Dave McKay is getting a lot of credit in Chicago for what Soriano's doing. Only 2 left fielders with 100 or more chances in all of baseball haven't made an error, and he's one of them. And Soriano's actually going to Dave McKay, asking for advice, asking for extra work, and that's something for a veteran to be doing.
It really is. And of course, he's having a good enough year that even with his 2 more years remaining on his monster contract, you know, they may have a taker. But let's go back to what you said about Holiday, you know, and saying, okay, I'm going to help you, the coaching staff. Let's see if we can get Kobe to follow, because that wasn't, and people don't understand that, but Kobe just didn't want to make himself better, didn't want to pay the price.
Holiday does. 1-2-3 inning for Westbrook.
Which one's the real arch?
I think the one that doesn't have Bob Gibson on it is the real one. Matt Garza took a long time to get out to the mound. He made the last out, struck out in the second. He's just now completing his warm-up tosses. Yadier Molina will bat first, and he's had a good year power-wise.
But look at the Cardinals' triple threat is Beltran's third in the National League with 20. Holiday hit his 15th last night, already a career high for Molina. And the Cardinals, only team with 3 players like that. They got a couple, Craig and Freese, that are about to join them, as they're both sitting on 14.
Yachty has become a very complete player, and he's hit the Cubs well. 11 RBIs on the season against the Cubs. No one has more. Cardinals are 5-4 against Chicago so far in 2012. First pitch to Molina. Soft liner to center. And it's caught by the charging DeJesus. Jim Hayes is with us, and he has some thoughts on our next batter. It's coming up to Johnny Cash, Lance Berkman.
Well, Lance was saying before the game that he sees some parallels between this year's team and last year. 2 teams looking to get jump started. He says one game can do the trick. Last year, it came on September 9th as the Cards rallied past the Braves in 10 and got to Craig Kimbrell. He says this year's Cardinal team has the potential to go on a real big run. Right now, they're just looking for a spark.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. Maybe Berkman will help provide that spark. And there were a lot of sparks last year.
Sure were, but I talked to Lance about basically the same thing, and I said, you don't really want to get into the habit of thinking you could wait that late in the season. He said, absolutely.
Good point. No time like the present.
And I think, to me, it's refreshing to hear the players being self-critical and analyzing the first part of the season. I think we all come up with the fact this is a much better ball club than where they are in the standings right now.
I think of not only that game against the Atlanta Braves that Jim mentioned, but also the game where the Cardinals came back against the Chicago Cubs, and Marmol threw a wild pitch to end the game. That was an emotional victory, and the emotional victories you can ride for a while.
Well, we thought we were going to ride it on Monday night in Milwaukee, but
short ride.
Yeah, it was a very short ride. But you know, the one thing I think the reason you picked that one game against Atlanta was that was the team you were chasing in the wild card, and you could see that they were ripe for the picking. Everybody forgets that it took a historic collapse by Atlanta to put the Cardinals in that position to win the wild card.
Berkman strikes out.
He likes to pitch inside, and there's that slider.
Lance is talking about his bat speed is just not there yet, and that may take a little bit of time, but there's also a timing issue that all hitters face.
And it's, it's understandable. You missed 2 months with a knee, but remember, he only had like 40 plus at bats coming into the entire season. So it's really been a wasted season for Lance, and tried to do it the old-fashioned way without going on a rehab. And that rule was put in for the benefit of the players, but a veteran like Lance Berkman, he knows his own body, thought he could do it without it.
David Freese has gotten his average right up around 300. He's been above it, below it over the last couple of days. Batting .413 in the month of July. 2-0 count in his favor. And a line drive. This is trouble. Into the corner. It's fair. LaHair plays it off the wall, but a stand-up double for David Freese with 2 outs.
16th double for Freese, and he has been one of the hotter hitters in the National League for the last couple weeks. You can see the sinker right there, and just laced in the corner. Dan and I were talking about, we don't see Freese driving the ball the opposite field as much lately, but what's got him back on track is he's been walking an awful lot, hitting over 400, and maybe we'll see him start utilizing more of right field and right center.
Had 3 walks on Wednesday and 1 more here last night. In scoring position for John Jay, who takes ball 1.
John 4 for 6 off of Garza.
And in the ebb and flow of a season, I think it'd be fair to say that he's not exactly flowing right now. He's had timing issues since the All-Star break, and now batting in the 8th spot. I think Mike Matheny's showing that that's where he's maybe trying to put guys that are struggling a bit. He did that with Furcal in Game 1 of this series. (3-0), first base open. Pitcher on deck.
Even though it's early, see some clubs right now would just go ahead and intentionally walk him instead of allowing a pitcher to make a blatant mistake and get hurt by it with the pitcher on deck. That was completely set up outside. Hit his target.
Hitting the road, take Fox Sports Midwest coverage of the Cardinals with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cardinals out-of-market game live online and on your favorite connected devices in HD quality. Visit Cardinals.com to get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. So an RBI opportunity now for Jake Westbrook, who is looking for his first RBI of the season. Takes strike 1. Jake hitting a very respectable 167 for a pitcher.
5 for 30 on the season. 1 double, no RBIs, as you said.
And another strike.
Trouble pulling the trigger.
Outfield very shallow, as you would expect. Here's a case where outfielders absolutely have to get in a position to be able to throw the runner out at the plate. Slider misses away 1-2. Right fielder LaHair is shallow. Soriano a bit deeper in left. 6 outfield assists for DeJesus in center. Garza handles Westbrook. On to the third, no score. This rivalry, two clubs that respect each other, and here they are head to head. Last 15 games here in St. Louis. Cardinals have not been very good hosts. They've won 11 of the 15 games. The ERA much lower. And the batting average 50 points higher for the Cardinals.
Rick, it pains me to say that the Cubs do hold the lead in the all-time series.
They do. I bet that guy knows it. That's why he's laughing. He's smiling. Cub fans, they just have to learn how to just smile right through it, don't they? They know how to have a good time.
It'll never happen in my lifetime, but if the Cubs ever were to win, you wonder how many people would jump off the bandwagon. The mystique's over.
Less interest, less chic to root for the Cubs. I think that happened to the Red Sox a bit.
Sure.
DeJesus bounced out in the first. That last outing for Jake Westbrook, because of the low pitch count, he was able to work into the 8th inning. Career record of 92 and 92. You mentioned the starting pitching. Really, the Cardinals starting pitching could hardly be better than it's been since the All-Star break. They've helped the bullpen out a bit.
The Cardinals ERA since the All-Star break is 2.73. That's tied for third. Cubs, not that bad. 5th place, 2.83. Cardinal starters have been 2.45 since the All-Star break.
Westbrook behind again, this time to DeJesus, 3-1 in the third.
Cincinnati jumped out to an early lead. I think it was 4 runs in the first inning. They're batting in the bottom of the third, 4-0 over Milwaukee. Pittsburgh and Miami are tied 1-1 the top of the third.
And that's 4 runs against the Brewers' best, Gallardo. Line drive, base hit up the middle for DeJesus. He continues to hit well here at Busch Stadium.
On the sinker, but a little too high. Easy to hit a line drive with that one.
Castro checking the signs. DeJesus only 2 stolen bases in 7 attempts. So that hasn't worked out very well for him. Perhaps a hit and run could be in order with Castro, who handles the bat well. At over 200 hits in his rookie season. Slider low and away, ball 1.
Mentioned Castro batting 193 this month, but he's hitting 332 with runners on base. Just 22 years of age, and there's no doubt he's a hitter. Castro in his first 2 big league seasons, 346 hits. That's a modern day franchise record, surpassing a good buddy of mine, Glenn Becker. At 335 back in 65, 66.
Beckert and Kessinger were quite a duo up the middle for the Cubs for many, many years.
Yeah, they were. 2 opposites, too.
Well, I know Don Kessinger really well. You know Glenn Beckert very well.
I know both of them because I play with.
Well, I was going to try to make
Don here, but you got the point if you knew Kessinger well.
Well, I was trying to make a comparison to the guy I knew and the guy you knew that might be like you and me, Al. That's where I was going.
It's got a little oil and vinegar, you know.
Cubs have a great tradition.
I thoroughly enjoyed playing with Don, and one spring training we shared a ride just about every day down in St. Pete. We were just talking about how days have changed where players would only have one car, and members of the ball players would kind of share a ride, so the wives would have a ride to the games.
There goes the runner, line drive to right. Beltran back, makes the play in front of the warning track.
That has changed, hasn't it?
Retreats to first.
About the cars.
Oh yeah, very different.
And relayed a little story about our good friend Greg Matthews.
Oh, I love the day that Greg Matthews came to the park and he said, I had a little problem last night. I drove to the park, my wife got a ride, and I forgot she was there, so I left her at the ballpark.
Knowing Greg, that's pretty easy for him to do.
I mean, I don't think she spent the night or anything, but this is pre-cell phones, and Greg's a good friend. He was a great teammate and pitched very well for the Cardinals in the playoffs, particularly against the San Francisco Giants in '87.
You want to hear something scary? Well, it might be shocking to a lot of people that I went to high school, but it's the same high school that Greg Matthews went to.
Now I get it.
Rick Omby, Trevor Hoffman, Manny Castillo. Left-hander throwing first baseman, so you got the glove on the right side. Real easy to apply a tag to a runner coming back to the bag.
We're so used to watching Albert for so many years play first base, and some of the throws, now that Berkman is the guy there, they're very different. The throw to second base, for example, on a ground ball, if it were hit to Berkman right now, he's got kind of the ability to have the throwing side and not have to spin around. But Albert did things so effortlessly. A lot of times there is an advantage to being left-handed.
Oh, but the real advantage is for left-hand throwing first baseman, more than likely it's going to be the shortstop receiving that ball, and instead of throwing it into a runner, he can throw it to the infield side, right. and the middle infielder sees that throw very clearly, and you doesn't have to, shouldn't be throwing it into a runner or being screened by the runner.
Think about the bunt play at first and second to throw to third base. Sure. It's a much easier throw for a left-handed first baseman.
Even
Albert
trying to go to second base.
Right. But Albert was just so good, he overcame all of that.
Once again, you can't be afraid to make a mistake. If Albert made a mistake, what were you going to say? Go hit us a home run and make up for it.
He didn't make very many.
Rizzo originally signed by Boston and went to San Diego in the Adrian Gonzalez deal.
Ground ball to second. Schumacher to Furcal. And on to first. Taylor made double play. Westbrook very good at getting those. About Greg Matthews, so what does he do? He shows up at the ballpark. And he went to Al Roboski's high school.
And you know why he was number 53?
I'm afraid to ask.
You should be. This is his quote, because that was Herbie the Lovebug's number, and we're both similar. We get in tight jams and have the ability to get out of them.
I kind of like that. Now, how come I never knew that story? Played with him for years.
Did you really want to know?
He's working here tonight. How about that?
I think I saw him the other day, and leaving the ballpark, and he said something about he was.
Line drive, base hit to left for Furcal.
Here for the summer, but I didn't quite understand. He said, I've got several clients, and I don't know if he was representing players or helping them with their construction. Good concentration by Furcal. Got a couple hits last night when he batted in the 8th spot, and Schumacher was in the leadoff spot.
Schumacher hit Dempster well, so he hit first yesterday. He hits Garza well, so he's batting second today. Sacrifice bunt. Works out well. And there goes Furcal. He's headed to third. Close play there, and he is out at third. Tried to slide to the back of the bag as Valbuena almost didn't get back in time to cover the bag. Furcal trying to take the extra bag, and it doesn't work out for St. Louis.
It's a sacrifice 3-4, and then they 4-5 put out.
I'm not sure he was out.
I wasn't sure either, but you couldn't ask for Gary Cedarstrom to be in a better position. Oh, he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
Good call. Good call at all. But it looked like, now watch when he comes in here, they almost were too late. Barney didn't almost get there, and then it looked like put his head down, but they adjusted quickly, and Barney is part of the double play.
So nobody on for Matt Holliday, and that's a shame.
Here's the bunt. Now they get it right over there, and Barney gets it in the last second. But you see, he's looking here to make sure the call, and that's what Furcal reacted to when he decided to try and sneak over to third. But they alertly threw the ball over. Valbuena got back there and did apply the tag.
Almost as if he saw Barney's head down, then he looked to third quickly, saw Valbuena's head
Playing
down,
in.
and he thought, well, maybe I can get there. You'd have to assume that there was some communication from other Cubs infielders at that time. Hey, there he goes. And the communication, very important, and infielders talk to each other.
And that's a situation where Jose Oquendo is just a spectator. He can't really tell him anything. Just a player trying to go on instincts, and nice try, but didn't work.
Holliday strikes out. That's 3 for Garza. 3 scoreless. Go to visitmo.com. Sinker on the outside corner. That one at 91. First pitch to Soriano here in the Cubs fourth. Soriano reached on a fielder's choice. And you're just fearful of those 18 home runs that he has. You just don't want to make a mistake to him. That's the key. There was a time where he could not hit a curveball to save his life.
Still may not be. Still probably is the best place to and what to throw, but do it like that.
And when you make a good one, now if you hang one to him though,
you're in
which
trouble.
We've seen it happen. That's what we're talking about, the mistake pitch.
The ball just really jumps off his bat, very wiry. So important to get ahead in the count, and then you can just
hook him again.
Throw that breaking ball again. Yes,
he did, and he gets him as long as Freese throws him out, which he does.
He's going to have to hit that pitch before I change.
Right.
Throw something else. But I do like it when you get ahead with a fastball or something and trick him, and then go right after him with that breaking ball to just make sure it's down and away.
Westbrook, the sinker ball, has given up just 8 home runs on the season. We mentioned Garza for the Cubs has given up 14 road home runs. Cardinals now have 101 home runs as a team, and they're 4th in the National League in that department. Trying to stay cool. .93 at game time. We've seen worse of late, haven't we?
Definitely.
The 1-2 to LaHare. Just misses the inside corner. Went away, then he came back in. Good changeup from Westbrook. And that's his 2nd strikeout of the night.
Right by Jake, who gets an awful lot of ground balls. 2.5 ground balls to fly balls, and nearly 72% of the time he'll throw a ground ball. He's got 5 ground ball outs tonight. 6 ground ball outs.
Again, he looked a little uncomfortable on that follow through on that last delivery. It's happened 2 or 3 times where he's landed awkwardly. Fly ball to right. Beltran has it. 1-2-3 inning for Westbrook. Beltran will bat first when we come back. Visit Cardinals.com. So, interesting development here. Matt Garza
Maybe he was
out of
traded.
this game, and that could be. Wouldn't be the first time. But I don't know if they traded the rest of the team or not.
Justin Germano, who was just acquired by Chicago from Boston into cash considerations after the Red Sox designated him for assignment. So he will come in and make his Cubs debut. Remember, we saw in the dugout he was kind of stretching his hand out. You know, Garza, the starter who went 3 innings. So they're talking right there. Trying to get a little feeling. That doesn't look like a trade. That looks more like discomfort. So Dale Swain will go to his bullpen.
And we'll give Justin Germano a chance to warm up. It's only fair. We'll be back after this. With the Northsiders. Matt Garza, the starting pitcher, has just been taken from this game, and we'll get a report on him as to what is ailing him. But the Cubs have had to go to their bullpen, and they bring in Justin Germano.
Said Ricky, you know, he was just acquired. There, as you see, number 29 years of age. Cubs represent his 5th big league club. Padres in 04, 2007 and 8, the Reds 2006, the Indians 2011. 10-11, Red Sox this year. Also pitched professionally in Japan and Korea. Spent the majority of this season at AAA Pawtucket, where he was 9-4, 2.40 ERA in 17 appearances, 6 starts. He did toss 5 2/3 scoreless innings of relief for Boston against the Yankees on July the 7th. And then they designated him for assignment, and the Cubs picked him up this past Thursday. So he'll be given as much time as needed because of the injury to Garza.
Always difficult for a pitcher to warm up in front of 40,000 people when you know everybody's just wanting some action.
Do it?
Oh yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Well, the other times it would happen not just with injury, but if a pitcher was thrown out of a game. And
Yeah,
I came in for Joaquin Andujar about 5 or 6 different times.
that would make sense. But it's my experience that, as you say, everybody's waiting and waiting. Like, come on, how long does it take? And you usually feel that pressure, and you say you're ready about a batter or two too soon.
The other thing you don't like about it from the pitcher's point of view is you're showing everybody what you're doing. It's like, here, watch I throw a curveball, here's that, and everybody's getting a chance to look at it from the other team's perspective. And not that it's a secret, Al, but if you're out there in the bullpen, you can kind of play around with some things.
But you see what works and what doesn't work.
Right, exactly.
Now, I never had that problem when I had one pitch to decide from.
The Astros made a deal again today. They sent Brett Myers
I thought
to the White Sox.
I thought that was a forerunner. They got the closer, Cordero. They got Cordero. I thought Brett Myers was either going to go to the rotation or he was going elsewhere.
They made a 10-player deal yesterday with Toronto, and today that deal was with the Chicago White Sox, and they're making deals with the American League teams, but Houston will be an American League team next year.
That's true. That'll seem strange.
So Germano is ready for Carlos Beltran. 3 innings, just 2 hits for Matt Garza. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary other than him stretching his forearm perhaps in the dugout. But he went.
Sometimes that forearm muscle is indication your breaking ball kind of irritates it and tightens up. Let's see if it's one batter too soon and Beltran hits number 200 career home run in the National League.
That's the number you were talking about.
Yeah.
He's already hit some big home runs this year and had some big moments. 300 stolen bases to go along with his 300-plus home runs.
By the way, last night he picked up his national leading 12th game-winning RBI. So 1 home run away from 200 in the National League.
Chris Maloney couldn't handle that at first base. You had to have Jose Oquendo work with him.
I was thinking the same thing.
You want to go tell him that, or do you want me to?
I'll tell him.
All right.
Tell Jose or tell Chris? Doesn't matter.
Chris is the hard one to tell. He's such a wonderful coach. Great to have him around. Exciting to see the Cardinals advancing some of their minor league personnel, including Dyer Miller, who's the bullpen coach this year.
And once again, I thought one of the neat things about the All-Star game was to see Jeff Murphy back with Tony La Russa and his entire staff. Jamie Pogue, number 39 there, is the new bullpen catcher.
High fly ball to center field. Out number 1. Dyer Miller on the left. Long-time pitching coach. Big leagues for a long time, too, I might add. He wears number 49, and he is the bullpen coach. He keeps all kinds of notes out there. Now, if they're both standing there by the fence, who's answering the phone when Mike calls?
I don't know, but look at how weird. Your number 49 and my number 39. That's what they think of us.
I wonder if they're doing that in tribute to us. Somehow I think
No,
not.
I don't think so.
Deep fly ball to left. And that's a long out. Now we keep records too, and important records about players that just don't seem to hit us very well, and we thought we'd share them with you. Al, you've got a much better list than me, I must say, with Dave Parker. He only hit 148 against you.
I was shocked that he hit that high.
I could get Mookie Wilson out today.
Now I'm not so mad at the truck. I grew some facial hair.
Yeah, this was their idea, not ours.
Of course, that pitcher was pre-Mad Hungarian.
They had to work really hard to find a few guys hitting under 200
guys.
against me, but we appreciate
Those were
the
three
tribute.
pretty good ones there.
A couple of lefties. 1-0 to Lance Berkman. Another off-speed pitch. So 2 long fly balls in the Cardinals' 4th inning, and Berkman trying to get something going here for the Redbirds. They struck early in game 1 of this series, 3 runs against Ryan Dempster, and they made those stand up, winning 4-1. Kyle Loesch was outstanding. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. One too many changeups to Lance Berkman.
See the circle change up, and you're right, just fooled him a couple times with it, but you go to the well one time too often for a good hitter. I used to say don't ever throw changeups to bad hitters. Speed up their bats, and don't throw too many to good hitters either.
David Freese doubled in the 2nd. He has one of the 3 Cardinal hits for call 1 and Berkman the other. There goes Berkman, and they don't pay any attention, and that is a Yadier Molina stolen base.
His 2nd of the year.
Step off, step off, step off. That's what I'd have been yelling.
Somebody should have been yelling that. Not to say they weren't, but
got to yell it loud.
That's what you do. You can't. You got to step off, then try to figure out what's going on.
I still don't know how that happens. A third baseman can see it. The catcher can see it.
First
baseman can see it. And they're the closest 3 players to a pitcher. Why they don't scream, step off.
Said this before, but I played with Joe Ferguson, who was a catcher outfielder, and he always felt you should be able to steal 10 bases a year by just taking advantage of the defense not paying any attention to you.
It's Berkman's 2nd stolen base of the season, and he's in scoring position for Freese, who has 53 RBIs.
2nd in the National League with 2 out RBIs.
We've talked a lot about how hot Matt Holliday is, but David Freese is equally as hot.
He's actually hotter. He has 26 2-out RBIs, but look at what he's done here in July. 413 average. Holliday, as you said, we talk about him all the time. 385, and look at McCutcheon. 500 average. Neil Walker right behind him. Then you've got Freese, Scott Rowland, and Matt Holliday. Excuse me, Ryan Zimmerman.
Rowland was on that list as of today, but Zimmerman has overtaken him. Big curveball, swing and a miss. Freese had his hands back, just couldn't come up with it. So the Cardinals strand their 4th. Freese cannot connect on the overhand curveball. No score from Busch.
About that new view, the 360 Club on the top of the Hilton Hotel, looking down into Busch Stadium.
Why do I feel like Elmer Fudd when I say Windy City Weekend? Can you answer that, Al?
Keith Olbermann helped you.
I guess so. 1 pitch, 1 out. Luis Valbuena hit the ball right on the nose his first plate appearance. It just went right to Matt Holliday. Freese taking the bunt away. And it's ball one.
Scoreless game, both sides 3 hits apiece, no errors committed. Have to think the Cardinals catch a break, getting Garza out of the game, and Westbrook still going strong. Retired 6 in a row.
Mike Matheny has seen his starting pitchers get the job done of late. Given the numbers, he has Lance Lynn going tomorrow. And Westbrook's been good so far tonight, but a leadoff walk or 1-out walk to Valbuena brings in pitcher Germano.
He has had time with San Diego and Cincinnati, but it's been a while. He gets the job done.
Perfect bunt. Berkman handles it. So an RBI opportunity for DeJesus. Here's the punting angle and style of Germano. Perfectly executed.
And see how simple it is, Ricky?
I know bunting is easy, Al.
Last time was April 16th, 08, and he does it like an old pro. It's like riding a bicycle.
I think it's like riding a really difficult bicycle.
Like riding a
like
unicycle.
A Harley. Like a Harley. Bunting against Aroldis Chapman is like riding a Harley.
Well, some people find that very easy.
Okay.
Now, I will agree with it. Maybe bunting off of Chapman is very difficult, but how about the unicycle? That a little better?
Yeah, that's probably better. Yeah, you were right the first time.
And then there's people that can ride the unicycle with ease. Ricky thinks bunting's hard. I think it's simple.
But we still get along. Isn't it wonderful?
And you had to do it a lot more than I did.
Well, I still got some Twitter comments coming about that particular topic of conversation between you and I. 1-1 on DeJesus. And it's about even, you'll be happy to know.
Didn't you have Buddy Mick? When that Whitey's buddy that was the bunting guru?
I do remember him.
Buddy Mick was.
I actually learned it from Nick Leyva, though. He was my bunting coach. Whitey stressed the fundamentals. Of course, all managers do to some degree, but Whitey, an outstanding baseball man. So happy that he's in the Hall of Fame. And speaking of the Hall of Fame, tomorrow, Barry Larkin, Ron Santo will be inducted.
Tim McCarver, the broadcaster's wing.
Congratulations. 2-2. There's a Westbrook ground ball. Schumacher charges it and gets his man. Westbrook just keeps rolling. Slash promotion. Going to be a great weekend. Some of your favorites will be back in town. Bruce Sutter, Jim Cott, Ken Oberkfell.
How about Bronny?
Did not see Bronny's name. I hope he'll be here.
Steve Braun, teammate of mine in Kansas City, but a great pinch hitter.
John Jay has bounced out. He walked in the second. Jake Westbrook will bat against Justin Germano, who came on in relief in the 4th after Matt Garza was lifted. Still waiting to hear what his ailment is, but he was only able to go 3 innings. He'd gone 7 shutout innings in his last outing and was really good then. 7 punch outs, and he looked like he was pitching well here tonight. Beautiful sky over Busch Stadium. Packed house. Here's a base hit for Westbrook. I know what you're saying. I wish he'd have done that last time. Westbrook added in the 2nd inning with a couple runners aboard. But he comes through here against Germano. And he's aboard for Rafael Furcal, who's 1 for 2. Well, that's one guy you'd like to see get hot. And when he gets hot, I mean, he can get 12 hits and 14 at-bats. And we've seen him do that in his career. He's done that a number of times.
He already has 1 hit this game. Usually when he gets 1, it turns it into a multi-hit game. He started out the season with so many 3-hit games. Opening night, doesn't seem like the next night. Watching Oquendo, see what he's flashing.
At one point, Furcal was leading the league in multi-hit games. That belongs to Melky Cabrera now. Has 43 of them. He's having a breakout year at 372. Line drive to center.
See where Kansas City traded Sanchez for Cabrera, and then they were going to send him, designate him for assignment, but they end up working out a trade for Guthrie with Colorado. But that was a one-way trade, and Kansas City doesn't look too good on that side.
We've seen both Guthrie and Sanchez, and I'm not sure which one I'd rather have.
Colorado wasn't happy with Guthrie at all, so they just kind of swapped problems.
1-0 to Schumacher. Pitch a little low, 1-1. Skip had a sacrifice bunt, and he's bounced out. So you set a batting order for one pitcher, and he lasts 3 innings. Usually messes you up when they bring in a long reliever and he actually pitches with the other arm. That's a little more problematic.
You really look at the Cardinal team with so many legitimate hitters and the depth of the lineup. I don't think it really matters much.
Tough play for Barney, and who's he going to throw it to? And somehow Rizzo gets back to the bag. How about that? Started to dive for it, then comes back and covers the bag. Very nifty fielding. It was Rizzo and Barney connecting. No score through 5. Just 7 hits in this game. Really not a lot of offensive threats at all. Well pitched by Jake Westbrook. And 2 Chicago Cub pitchers. The starter Matt Garza, who went 3. And 2 solid innings for Justin Germano, who's in relief.
And Ricky, once again, a good lesson to remind young pitchers, if you're involved in a game like this, don't worry about the lack of run support. Just do your job. It's either going to come around or it won't.
Don't try to do too much.
Yeah, you can only control what you're doing on the mound. So just keep on throwing those ground ball outs and you'll be fine. Cardinals haven't scored since the 3rd inning of last night's game. Good thing they got those early runs.
Jake Westbrook's slider has been sharper this year than I remember a year ago. I think the downward angle that we keep talking about, where he's changed a little bit in his mechanics, probably helping that.
You know, it seemed like I saw some video from last year where a lot of times he would end up throwing, almost look like he was stepping towards the on deck hitter.
Right.
And then it was really hard to get on top of whether it's a sinker or a breaking ball.
Watch out for the bat. Catch the ball. Throw him out. That's what David Freese had to do.
So this year he's been much better of opening up a little quicker, stepping right towards home plate. Look at that running action in on the hands. I don't often want to see a sinker ball throw the ball up that high, but when they had that movement cutting in on the hands, it's a very effective pitch. Mentioned Rizzo playing his 19th ball game, already 5 game-winning hits. He had 3 of them in his first 5 games. How about that breaking in? And immediately they took the all-star LaHare and said he's available.
Very relaxed style at the plate.
Ricky, we've seen this before. I mentioned that he was involved in the Adrian Gonzalez trade, went to San Diego. He made his major league debut last year at age 21 and just wasn't ready. And he hit under 200 in 128 at bats, and they gave up on him. Now they got a power arm in Cashner, but still, and I mean, this kid has a chance, and they say he is a legitimate 3-hole hitter in the National League. He was leading Pacific Coast League in just about every offensive category at the time of his promotion.
Hard to give up on somebody when they're 22.
Exactly. Well, they gave up on him when he was 21.
Mike Shannon telling me yesterday that at the plate he reminds him a little bit of Billy Williams. He has this kind of relaxed. And there's Mike, along with Jim Jackson, who runs the show on the radio side and does a great job. But Mike said Billy Williams had that kind of, all right, I'm really not paying attention batting stance, and then the next thing you know, he would just attack you.
I have the utmost respect for Billy Williams, and I could tell you that it just seemed like it didn't matter what the score was, I knew I was facing Billy Williams in the 9th inning. Just a tremendous hitter and the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Berkman has the one hopper. Another ground ball out for Westbrook. Making it look easy. Want to be here in person next time your Cardinals take the field? Just head to StubHub, where it's easy to find the seats you want to see the Cardinals in action all season long. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. Beautiful night for baseball. And a beautiful night for a Cardinal victory. That slider, kind of a get-me-over pitch, and good thing Soriano wasn't looking for that. That one much better and much sharper.
Detroit beat Chicago today, and they move into first place in the Central Division of the AL by a half game.
Another slider strikes out Soriano. We had 43,000 here last night. I think they all stayed for some more fun. Very well pitched ball game so far. And maybe this is the inning the Cardinals can break out. Holiday, Beltran, and Molina. All of them having very good offensive seasons. First pitch to Matt is an off-speed pitch low. Germano's using that changeup quite a bit.
May use it a little too often.
Holiday's jammed. Good play by Castro. Wide throw, and Holiday will reach base. Have to wait to see how they score that. Castro went a long way to get it. Off balance throw.
Pretty deep on the outfield ground. It's an error on Castro. He kind of watches his reaction, and he kind of felt like he should have made the play. Kind of running in on him. And he's deep on the grass, slings the ball. Look at that trajectory. As he got way underneath it, there's no way you could have accuracy on that throw, but a leadoff error. Doesn't really matter if it's earned or unearned. Cardinals need the runs.
Error number 14 on the season for Castro. First error of the ball game.
Still looking for Beltran to get his 200th National League home run tonight.
Change up low, 1-1. And see if the Cardinals can make that error hurt to begin the 6th inning. Throw to first. Holiday's back. He has 4 stolen bases in 6 attempts. Cardinals have stolen the base already. And if I had a chance to give you 3 guesses who stole it, you probably wouldn't guess correctly unless you saw it. Lance Berkman. Two-one to Berkman. To Beltran, excuse me, as a slider for a strike. Berkman the runner at first. No, Holiday the runner at first. I'll get him straight. We'll see Berkman eventually.
4 Bs. Just one of them, right?
And we hope we see him this inning.
Got a good shot. Good chance.
2-2. Soft liner, base hit to left for Beltran. So an error and a hit, and the Cardinals threatening here in the 6th inning.
Got the ball up a little bit. Good piece of hitting going with the pitch. Little line drive. So just floating out that way right off the end of the bat, but enough of it to sting it into left and not carry to the left fielder.
Mentioned Molina has 9 RBIs against the Cubs this year. No one has more. And he's been very good with runners in scoring position. 362.
But we've seen true to form. Mike Matheny, usually in this situation, has the batter sacrificed, but it could be a bluff. Set it in the mind, and you still may switch off eventually.
What do you think about it, Bon, here?
There's pros and cons to it. You know, some ways, you know, Mike is just playing for that first run lead. Cardinals usually win when they take the lead. If you let Molina swing away, he is one of your better RBI men, but a sure double play candidate. Anyways, you know, we are here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So it's not like the first inning, but in some ways I just would like to see him swing away.
Kind of like you. I think I could make a strong argument both ways in this particular situation.
You know, there's really no right or wrong.
Right.
It's just kind of your preference.
Right. Feel. What's he going to do here? Swinging. And he pops it into center field.
Yeah, the runners were moving.
Now Holiday's going to tag up, but
should have
no chance. Right. Now you tell me. And all of our viewers that are thinking that he should have bunted are saying exactly that right now. That's what makes baseball interesting. There go the runners. He pops it up. So now it's Lance Berkman. Knew we'd get to him.
And we're going to get to him so he can do something special here.
Had a premonition, didn't I?
Yes, you did, and I'm liking it. Fair ball, though.
Yeah, in my premonition, it was fair. Crowd rising to the occasion here.
Lance, remember last time up, went to the well one time too often with that changeup, and he got a base hit. But second time through the order, it's like they maybe have a little better idea of what they want to do. Or maybe not.
Germano to second for one, on to first in time to get Berkman. 1-6-3 double play. On to the seventh. Third baseman to have 300 home runs and 5 or more Gold Gloves. Very relevant question here tonight. Ron Santo being inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame tomorrow. And Mike Schmidt, one of the game's best third basemen. 16 third basemen in the Hall of Fame, and there's 2 of them. 2 of the best.
I used to have so much fun with Sano and Kid Him, and one time Skip Carey and Steve Stone put a graphic on WGN, and with Ronnie in the radio booth could see the monitor, and said that he was 0 for 13 with 12 strikeouts against me. Sano went livid, wanted retraction.
Still competitive. Sano in very rare company when you look at his playing career with the Cubs. Of course, he was an outstanding broadcaster for a long time as well, but 15 major league seasons. He had 2,000 hits, 300 home runs, and 1,300 RBIs. Only 4 players reached those plateaus with that many hits, that many RBIs, that many home runs.
They're pretty good ones, aren't they?
Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, Billy Williams.
And then that begs you to ask the question, why did it take so long?
9-time All-Star.
There's Keith Moreland, the former catcher for the Cubbies and others, but Pat Hughes is at Cooperstown representing the Cubs, longtime broadcast partner with Ron Santo.
If you are a baseball fanatic, and I mean you just love the game, the essence of the game, the history of the game, the meaning of the game, you name it, just the feel of the game, you've got to go to Cooperstown once for the Hall of Fame induction. I'm thankful I had a chance to go when Whitey Herzog went in, and it was just a wonderful experience. Westbrook, nasty slider, and that's his 4th strikeout.
I've been there one time. It was for Ozzy's induction. A good pitch, starts out outside and then breaks down below the strike zone. 2 in a row, 4 in the night. But I would love to go back when it's not an induction time, because just so you could really soak it in without the huge crowds. And being in the Hall of Fame, they honored Red Chaney's, Whitey Herzog, and Tony La Russa this afternoon.
3 generations of Cardinal managers that have won World Series. That was a nice gesture.
2 have been in the Hall of Fame, and 1 will be.
No question. Number retired earlier this season. That was a dramatic moment here at Busch Stadium. And we hope there's some dramatic moments ahead. Call 3rd strike. Soto's 0 for 3, and that's 3 straight strikeouts for Jake Westbrook.
Look at this, dealing. Really, the first inning, 24, where he left the bases loaded, but they couldn't touch home plate. And he's such a good fielder. And when you're a sinker baller, you become a 5th infielder as soon as you release the ball. But you don't quite see him backpedaling like that.
Well, he's had a bit of a recoil. He looks down again, and even that last pitch, and he throws off a stiff front leg. That's what a lot of pitchers do, but it's almost been so stiff it's as if it's jarring into the ground, like maybe the slope of the mound is off for him, or he's not comfortable with it, whatever the case may be. But he just still seems a little uncomfortable for a guy that's putting up a lot of zeros.
Right. And once again, I saw that foot recoil.
Well, maybe he needs to keep doing that.
I was more than one that I challenged line drives back at me instead of.
Bare hand Freeze gets it. David Freeze, a beautiful play on the run. Thank you very much, says Jake Westbrook. Perfect inning for him. Time to stretch here in St. Louis. Westbrook getting some help. Hall of Famer and Cardinal legend Bruce Sutter to your bobblehead collection. 25,000 fans entering with a ticket will receive a Sutter bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cardinals.com. David Freeze bats first here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and he fouls it off. I love the 7th inning stretch when the Cardinals and the Cubs play, and we get a chance to see Jack Buck do the 7th inning stretch that he did in Wrigley, and the fans here applaud the sentiment of what Jack does now when he talks about how great the rivalry is. But I think they're just applauding for Jack Buck as well.
Well, it's a combination, and I was there that night in Wrigley Field when Jack did that, and I got a little tear in my eye every time I see that video. He was so special to both of us and all of Cardinal Nation. Has just taught how many generations about winning baseball the Cardinal way, and just taught us so much. And just a
bare hand doesn't get Freeze. Very similar play that David Freeze threw out Barney with in the top of this inning, and he gets a base hit to lead off the bottom half.
And let's hope this is the time they go through. But David Freeze made a great job on Barney, as you said. Do or die play, playing back, but this ball maybe carried a little bit closer to him, and then he makes a strong throw on the run. Very similar. Both got the ball at the same point, but a much stronger throw from David Freeze than Valbuena. And Dale Swaim's going to go to his bullpen and bring in a lefty.
First-year manager Dale Swaim. 12 big league seasons for him. Russell. And he's going to go to Russell, who's pretty good.
He's really pitching well. Well, he's been very good. He's got 35 scoreless appearances out of 46. Picked up his 3rd win on Wednesday. See the good ERA. 44 innings pitched, 35 strikeouts. He has posted a 2.31 ERA in 105 games out of the bullpen since the 2011 start. Been very tough with runners in scoring position, especially with 2 outs. And it's John Jay's turn to crack through here. Then they had Matt Carpenter on deck, and now Alan Craig has gone to the on-deck circle.
Be nice to get a win for the starter, Jake Westbrook. He deserves it.
Absolutely.
Westbrook with 100 pitches.
Couldn't be much better than what Westbrook was tonight. Only allowed 3 hits in his 7 innings of work.
How about a bunt here?
2 of those 3 hits were in the first inning. Part of what Russell is doing is to shorten up the lead there, but also to allow Dale Swaim and coaching staff to read the intentions of John Jay. You would think it'd be his 6th sacrifice this season. They're playing for the bunt.
Pops it up, and the play is made by the 3rd baseman. So John Jay, last time we saw him bunt, he had to face Aroldis Chapman. That wasn't much fun. And he doesn't get the bunt down here either. He pops this one up. Squares around early enough, but drops the bat angle and pops it up. 3rd baseman Valbuena charging.
That was it. Watch the barrel of the bat go completely down, and then the only thing you can do is pop the ball up. Does help to bunt at a strike.
Alan Craig, the pinch hitter. Cardinals batting just 174 as a team pinch hitting.
Not a lot of production either.
1 home run.
1 home run.
18 RBIs. And by contrast, the Cubs are hitting 295.
Yeah.
And they have 6 home runs.
Well, you know, it's really, when you look at it too, Cardinals have a lot of kids, you know, inexperienced guys on that bench where the Cubs have the veterans. Nice to promote from within and get guys to big league time, but
there's a line drive, base hit for Craig, and it's going to go to the corner. Freeze rounds third. He's being held up there by Oquendo, and I do not believe he would have scored. Fans aren't happy that he didn't try, but I'm not sure he'd have been able to make it. We'll have to check the replay on it. As the ball got in the corner, Soriano got it in fairly quickly.
Soriano has a strong throwing arm, and then Starlin Castro. Now the problem is Oquendo doesn't know that they're going to mess up the cutoff. He just assumes that David Freese is not really running that well, so why run into it out? But down in the corner, tracks it down. He hits the cutoff man, but no. See, it short hops him. If you would have known that, obviously you would have sent him. But Soriano has a strong enough throwing arm, and so does Castro, that they didn't want to take the chance.
Either way, Alan Craig comes through with a pinch hit double.
Espazio is the pitching coach for the Cubs. Doc not only pitcher and catcher, but also the middle infield defense.
Our own Cal Eldred, I saw him talking with Chris Bosio and Dale Swain. He played with both of those guys. I played with Dale Swain with the Brewers one year when he was on his way up, and he had a decent year in Milwaukee in the late 80s. He had 25 home runs one season for the Brewers, 95 RBIs. Jamie Quirk, the bench coach.
A little tough when you say that's decent.
More than decent.
Cruz coming in case he needs to pinch hit.
43,424 on hand. Got the same crowd we had here last night.
Got the infield in.
That almost got away from the catcher. Soto.
Furcal leads National League leadoff men in RBIs with 37. Wouldn't this be a great time to pick up a game winner?
Ground ball left side, base hit for Call. Freeze scores, and the Cardinals take the lead. 1-0. RBI number 38 for Rafael Furcal.
Furcal had been struggling a little bit. I just think he needed a breather. You know, going to the All-Star game, played already more games this season than he had the last several. He gets his second hit tonight after a 2-hit game last night, and breaks a 0-0 tie. Soriano respecting his throwing arm again. They hold Alan Craig at third, but the Cardinals get the go-ahead run on a key base hit by Rafael Furcal.
I like to see Furcal clapping as he was running down the line. You know he was pumped up about that base hit. Way to go, Rafi. So Schumacher hits from the left side, so they keep the lefty in.
Nobody warming up for the Cubs. That could be a bit dangerous with only one out here and Holiday looming.
agree. A couple of pitchers in that Chicago Cub bullpen have been very busy, including Russell, who's in his 47th game.
John Camp worked a ton also.
Good slider, just misses. 1-1 to Skip. Batting .464 with runners in scoring position. Hard to get much better than that. One almost hit it. Greg, the runner at third. He had a pinch hit double. For Call, the runner at first. His RBI base hit has given the Cardinals the lead here in the seventh.
Skip Schumacher isn't supposed to have this many plate appearances, but you just can't keep him out of lineup. He just keeps on producing.
You run for Call. Same question that perhaps the pitcher was asking. Call has 12 stolen bases. He's been caught 4 times. Cardinals would be at least interested in staying out of the double play here. Not going. Fastball misses. Now it's 3-1. I'd send him here. How about you?
3-1. I have no problem. You do worry about a strike him out, throw him out, but for Call, over 300 career steals, should be able to read the move of the pitcher, get a good enough jump where Soto can't throw him out. Almost left a little too soon.
2 votes for him going. Not going, and he fouls it back, and our vote was vetoed.
Well, I think Russell gave him a little different look, and he was not comfortable and had him actually moving back to first base. With a right-handed batter, or excuse me, a right-handed pitcher and Skip up there, I don't think there's a question. Lefties, still, he's doesn't hit lefties like he does right-handed batters or pitchers.
Not going again, and there's a hard hit ball to deep center field. Back goes to Jesus, to the wall, and he doesn't have it. The ball's down. Greg scores. Here comes for Call. He'll score, and it's 3-0 St. Louis. Skip Schumacher delivers.
It's Skip's third double. No home runs on the year, but a big blow, and it's almost as good as a home run. So 3-2 pitch, gets a fastball down and in. He hits this with authority right at the base of the wall. Oh, it's a little breaking ball, but just really didn't do anything. Instead of down away, it's kind of backed up and left it right down and in his wheelhouse.
So the lefty has to face Holiday. Nobody up in the bullpen for Dale Swaim. Exactly the situation you projected. Schumacher now the runner at third.
Oh, Dale Swaim doesn't have a righty up for a reason. He knows his personnel. They didn't have the off day Thursday like the Cardinals did. How would you like to be one of those middle infielders? And Holiday at the plate as hard as he hits the ball. Of course, I say that, and then the pitcher's, what, 30 feet closer in.
Right. Three and 0. Cardinals trying to make a winner of Jake Westbrook.
He deserved it. As well as Loesch pitched last night, you have to say Westbrook pitched even better.
Is he swinging? We'll never know because he didn't.
You don't often see an infield in with a third baseman playing deeper than the other three infielders. I'm going to know something.
Fear factor at work here.
Don't blame him.
Go pitch here, 3-1, and it misses inside, so Holiday walks for the second time. And it's gotten even more stressful now for Mr. Russell. 3-0 St. Louis. Out hit the Cubs 9-3. Big hits in this inning, delivered by Alan Craig, Rafael Furcal, and Skip Schumacher.
Now let's go ahead and give Freese one too, because swinging bunt that got it all started. Talked about it last night. Started goes 7 innings. Boggs in the 8th, Mott in the 9th. All falls in place.
Line drive down the right field line. This ball is fair and in the corner. Schumacher scores, and it's going to be a ground rule double. That ball bounced into the stands, so Holiday will have to go back to third. But a 4-run inning now for St. Louis as Beltran picks up RBI number 68.
That leads the National League in RBIs. So his hot hitting continues. He's got a pair of hits tonight. Ball out away from him, just goes with a pitch right inside the right field line and then bounces in and stands for the ground rule double.
Precisely what the Cardinals were not able to do on their last road trip. Bunch hits together and put up a crooked number. They're doing that right here in the 7th.
And they don't want to face Molina in this situation.
The Cardinals had been 10 for 60 in runners in scoring position situations since the All-Star break. That's the lowest number in all of Major League Baseball. Just 10 hits since the break. But they're coming through here in the 7th.
But we know this is a outstanding offense. This is more indicative of what they can do than the failures they had on the road trip. And they'll be the first ones to tell you. And Jake Westbrook, he said, just go pitch your ball game. Everything will take care of itself. And he'll be in line with this victory. It's just how many runs will they have? It's all to Berkman. Manny Corpus, saw him last night. He begins to throw in the Cubs bullpen.
Here's your situation. Holiday at third, Beltran second, Molina at first. Berkman and Russell. The current competition, 4-0 St. Louis.
RBIs for Lance.
In his career against the Cubs, 97 of them. Only Pujols and Lee with more. Scott Rowland on that list.
Albert Pujols has a chance to lead that list for quite a few years.
1 strike delivery, just a bit inside. And Mr. Russell is struggling a bit.
9th batter of this inning. One batter retired was John Jay trying to bunt.
Infield back hoping for a double play. Berkman takes a strike. Not sure about that call. He questions it. Russell trying to paint that outside corner. Does he get it? Yes, he does.
Good pitch. Down and away with off-speed pitch.
The 1-2. Popped up on the infield. Infield fly is called by the first base umpire. Means the batter is automatically out. Runners can advance at their own risk. Corpus continues to throw.
He'll be coming in.
And he's going to throw in prime time here in a moment. Dale Swaim has made the move. He'll inherit a bases loaded situation. He'll be on to pitch to David Freese, who has a couple of hits already. Cardinals have jumped out in front here in the 7th. A 4-run inning so far. 10 hits now for St. Louis. And they may not be done yet. Louis. Manny Corpus, the pitcher. Bases loaded situation, and David Freese at the plate.
Saw Corpus last night, and remember he missed all last season with Tommy John surgery. They're probably a little cautious with him on back-to-back games.
You could tell that Dale Swaim really did not want to use him in this inning. Waited as long as he could to get him up. He had to go to his bullpen early because of the injury to Garza. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. And we have heard that Garza had a right tricep strain, and all the x-rays were negative, so not a problem really, but he had cramping in his right tricep, and we know how hard it is to pitch when that happens.
And of course, there's how many ball clubs that were scouting him as for a potential trade.
Line drive to right, base hit on an 0-2 pitch. 1 run will score. Here comes another. David Freese doubles to right, and the Cardinals extend their lead.
David now with 28 2-out RBIs. He was second in the National League. We don't know what the number is for the #1 spot, but his second double of this game and his 3rd hit. A little breaking ball. You can kind of throw the bat at it, shoots it into right field. 2 more RBIs. The Cardinals a big 6-run inning, and they're not through yet.
John Jay can make it worse. Slider, strike 1. Jay is 0 for 2 with a walk. And it'd be nice to get him back on track. You know, an interesting philosophy difference. Tony La Russa's one of his favorite ways to get a hitter hot was to hit him right in front of a very dangerous hitter. Bat him second.
Problem was he was in the 2-hole.
That's
and
right.
It was cold.
That's
so
right. You can't do that.
You got to switch him to some other place to get him hot. There it is.
Drive, base hit, John Jay. 1 run will score. Here comes another. John Jay heads to second, slides in safely.
David Freese, 3 hits, 2 doubles. That's a double there for John Jay. And 2 RBIs. Good piece of hitting just inside the bag, slicing into foul territory, off the side wall, and two runners score. Germano could lose this game by only giving up the first run of the Cardinals' 8 runs this inning. Russell charged with 6 of them. And Corpus another.
And Alan Craig has pinch hit in this inning, and he's going to get a chance to hit again. Eight runs on 7 hits this inning. Little bloop to right. This is trouble, and it's down. Another hit for Craig, and he's headed for second as John Jay scores. And it's a 9-run Cardinals 7th. How about that?
How about 3 RBI doubles in a row? And sometimes all you have to do is just make contact. Now they're breaking ball right off the end of the bat. Really almost just one-handed swing, just trying to make contact. Gets rewarded. For Kyle, who got the very first RBI of this ball game, he'll have another shot.
Cardinals have improved their stat with runners in scoring position in 1 inning.
I mean, what are you talking about having a problem
They
with?
might be leading the league now.
Like I say, 1 inning like this, and all of a sudden erases 6 bad games.
For call.
Elise warming up now for the Cubs with his 6.43 ERA.
A 9-run Cardinal 7th inning. I'm not sure what a 10 looks like on our scoreboard. I'm not sure we've seen one of those in a while. I don't know how they do that.
I don't care how they do it, just do it. You know it's capable of doing it.
You think they thought about that ahead of time?
Oh, yes.
I'm not sure. It looks like there's one spot for a number. I don't know.
We'll fake it.
2-2 to Furcal. Big swing, fouls it straight back. One of those multi-hit games for Furcal. He scored a run, driven in a run. Cardinals now have 6 different batters who've driven in a run. Schumacher, Freese, and Jay, 2 each.
Holiday, Molina, and Berkman, the only Cardinals not to drive in a run. Those would be 3 of the ones you would pick first.
And Molina and Holiday, the only 2 that don't have a hit. So a team effort here in the 7th inning. 8 hits in the inning.
They've gone from Boggs to Zepchinski and now Browning warming up for the Cardinals' next pitcher.
Payoff pitch to Rafael Furcal is fouled off. Saw where Shelby Miller went 6 shutout innings.
Saw that also
last night for AAA Memphis. That's good news. He seems to have righted the ship a bit. His record 5-8, and he is a prospect of the future that we've had an eye on, and we'll see him eventually at the big league level. Got some things to work on.
Maybe change a few attitudes. Because now we're hearing his name possibly being rumored as trade bait for the first time. Totally untouchable last few years.
3rd walk of the inning. Puts 2 runners on for Skip Schumacher. His triple. A huge hit in this game. And you've got a pitcher, as you said, just coming off Tommy John surgery a year ago. And they are not going to let him throw another pitch. Dolis is ready. Swain goes to the bullpen again. 9-0 St. Louis. Still batting in the 7th inning, and some changes for Chicago. Rafael Dolis will be the 5th pitcher of the night for Chicago. And he comes on along with Joe Mather in a double switch. They'll bat in Darwin Barney's spot, who's out of this game. Mather will play 3rd, and Valbuena moves to 2nd.
Well, you see the former Cardinal, Joe Mather, who had a game-winning RBI walk-off style in Chicago against Cardinals. Dolis and Marmol lost his closer job. Dolis took it over. He was 4 for 6 in saves, and then he earned a trip to the minor leagues. Spent a month down at Iowa with his, and back up here with his 6.40 ERA.
Ground ball, fair, past the bag at third. And the Cardinals are going to score their 10th run of the inning, and it's another double. This time it's Skip Schumacher. A 10-run 7th inning.
Will you look at the scoreboard, Rick?
It looks as if somebody did indeed plan ahead on that scoreboard, but first we'll look at the swing of Schumacher.
Wait, this ball's so deep on him. How he keeps it fair. It did cross the bag in fair territory, then goes into foul territory, and another RBI. The third this inning for Schumacher. 2 extra base hits, a triple and a double.
Now Matt Holliday. You're right, Al. A 10 does fit there quite nicely.
6 doubles, a triple this inning.
Most runs in an inning for the St. Louis Cardinals, in case you're wondering. And I know there are people who are. You don't have to Google it. We did it for you. 1926, a 12-run inning.
That was a great year for the Cardinals. Not sure which, but that had to be one of the, that was their very first World Championship. First of 11 back in 1926. My memory escapes me. I can't remember how many games that series went to. I saw 4 of them.
You did. Pitch almost hits Holliday. Cardinals are 1 swing away from a 12-run 7th inning.
12?
Well, it could be 13.
That's right. I was going to say, if you're going to make it 1 swing, make it a good swing. Now they're disappointed. The ball's just foul.
Right. You could hear the crowd kind of groan on that, couldn't you? Oh, that's it. Just a foul ball.
3-2, 2 outs. Base hit should try that record, but
the 3-2 to Holliday. Line drive down the right field line. This could be fair, and it is. And it goes to the corner. Are you kidding me? 2 more Cardinal runs cross the plate. Another double. This time it's Holliday, and a 12-run 7th.
we have hit some seeing eye extra base hits. Another slider down the end, goes down and gets it right at the end of the bat. Slice into the corner. I think the Cub fans are saying, where's the 10-run rule?
Now Carlos Beltran. I'm not sure I've ever seen an inning like this. A 12-run 7th ties a team record. That happened on September 15th of 1926.
Ricky, why don't we just say you've never seen it?
Well, I'm talking minor leagues, high school, little league, neighborhood. Ball gets away from Beltran, and he may get to first base. They're going to have a throw at first, and they can't get him. He strikes out, and he reaches safely and the inning gets uglier for Chicago. The strikeout wild pitch.
Look at that. Beltran didn't know it got away. He's going down there, but the throw is offline. Strikeout wild pitch. The inning continues for Tony Cruz. I think we could have Tony Cruz take over from Molina in this game, right? A well-deserved inning or two off for Molina.
I'm okay with that. The Cardinals, by the way, Al, won in 7 games in 1926 against the New York Yankees. I believe that's the World Series that Babe Ruth got thrown out trying to steal to end the 7th game.
Like I said, I only saw 4 games. They were all the home games.
Fair enough. Tony Cruz, pinch hitting. And pitch is low.
Tyler Green is going to pinch run. I would not recommend him to steal at this point. That would be against the unwritten rules.
Even I'd be mad if he did that. And he won't. 2-0 to Cruz. One of those situations where you feel for the pitcher, you feel for the team, but you keep on swinging, keep on hitting.
Sometimes that's what makes you keep on getting success, is you're just so relaxed. You're not trying to grind sawdust. You're just up there just trying to make an easy swing. Cardinals just done that several times, just make contact.
I got pummeled here one day pitching against the Cardinals for the Dodgers. Terry Pendleton had 3 bullets off me. Okendo had a couple. Terry had 1 double, stood at second base, and he was shaking his head. After the game, I asked him why he was shaking his head, and he said, "I never felt so bad to hit a ball so hard in my entire life."
He got over it.
He did. 2-1 count to Cruz. Fouls it at the plate. A 12-run Cardinals 7. 10 hits in the inning. 3 walks. Freese has 2 hits in the inning. So does Alan Craig as a pinch hitter. And so does Skip Schumacher.
That inning has had to last nearly 45 minutes, doesn't it?
Good swing by Cruz, you bet. Well, who's getting loose for the Cardinals now? Is it still Browning, or have we changed our mind again?
Browning, but he's pitched. He's in the 8th inning, literally in the bullpen. You have to be careful in an inning like this. You're just throwing and throwing and throwing, trying to.
Cruz can't hold up, and mercifully for the Cubs, the inning ends. But what an inning for St. Louis. 12 runs on 10 hits. And they all got into the act for Carl Freese, Schumacher, and many, many others. 12-0 St. Louis. Go to Pat Paris in our studio with a Bomberito Sports Update. Pat? Barrett Browning is the new Cardinal pitcher. Plenty of changes for the Redbirds. The 12-run inning in the 7th ties a team record. Many, many years ago, the first world champion St. Louis Cardinals did it. On September 15th, a 12-run inning.
And just think about that. It was in the 3rd inning of the first game of a doubleheader.
You think the other team got thin on pitching in game 2?
You know, Ricky, back then they didn't care that much about pitchers. You just had to cart you off, and they carted you off.
Nice play by Berkman. So Barrett Browning, 1 pitch, 1 out. The Cubs are thinking, wait a minute, is it that easy? He retires Valbuena. Changes for the Cardinals. Tony Cruz behind the plate now as Joe Mather steps to the plate. Cruz now catching for Molina. Tyler Green has stayed in the game. He's playing second. Skip Schumacher's moved to right field, and Matt Carpenter is now in left. There they all are. See them? Trust us. What an inning. That was fun, Al. Did you enjoy that?
I did.
Good. Glad to make you happy.
It's a lot more fun to watch it. The Cardinal hitters do that than the opposition.
All set. Barrett Browning has been very, very impressive, and the little amount that we've seen him out of the bullpen just seems to be a guy that just attacks his own.
Well, that's the thing. You know, he's 27 years of age, paid his dues. He's felt he could pitch at this level. Nobody ever gave him a shot. The Cardinals picked him up from the Angels in the Rule 5 minor league draft.
Ground ball to Furcal. He throws out Mather. So he gets his first 2 guys here in the Cubs 8th.
Tony Campana is going to hit now. You've seen enough of him. I really like to watch him play.
I agree. He's become a bit of a cult hero, I think, in Cub country because he runs so well. He's just very, very fast. In fact, I would say he may be the fastest guy in the National League. There's debate about that. I think D. Gordon is probably the guy that's the fastest player who plays with the Dodgers, but Campana right up there with him.
He's got 25 steals, and he hasn't been here all that long.
He doesn't play very much. He has 25 steals.
Recalled on April 21st. He's only made 35 starts. 25 steals, ranks 4th in the majors despite seeing action in only 63 games. He's a pinch hitter this year. He was 0 for 1 last night, but he's still 6 for 13 as a pinch hitter.
Mentioned how good the pinch hitters are for Chicago. He's 6 for 13. They're hitting close to 300 as a team. Reed Johnson 11 for 25.
Right. Of course, Browning and Campana pace each other this year in Iowa.
Mike Matheny.
Well, Marte has not pitched in quite a while, at least a week, so he's going to bring in Marte here to get a little action.
Here comes Marte. He'll get the ball from Mr. Matheny. 8th inning. Cardinals comfortably ahead. Over for Barrett Browning, who went 2/3 of an inning, walked a batter. Marte has not pitched in a while. Part of the reason why Mike Matheny is using him here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, that's the only reason is Marte hasn't pitched since July 14th. Now there's a reason why he hadn't pitched for the 14th, is he's allowed home runs in 3 of his last 5 outings. Very reliable early in the season. Mike wanted him to come in with runners on base, clean up an inning.
And it looks like he just cleaned it up with 1 pitch, because John Jay has it. Castro retired. Cardinals are going to get one more chance to hit. They lead 12-0.
Rick, you got a very interesting email.
I did. I got it. It was actually a tweet. A fan said
know the difference.
Fan said that the half inning actually took 50 minutes, where the Cardinals scored their 12 runs, and the comment was when the 26th team did it, they probably did it in 15.
I like that one.
Shows how the game has changed a bit. Berkman fouls it back. A couple of changes for the Cubs. Baker, who actually pinch hit for Valbuena, we missed that. He stays in the game to play second base, and Barney moves over to 3rd. Campana in center. Actually,
Mather's still at
Mather's still at 3rd. We thought he'd be pitching.
We were hoping.
We've seen him do it.
I know DeLeese, he was sad that, you know, at one point he was a setup man, then he became the closer, then pitched his way to Iowa, worked his way back here. ERA now over 6.5. Game like this, you know, why not have a little fun with it, put a position player in to pitch the final inning.
And at some point, you have to start being concerned about the innings of your bullpen.
Sure, I mean,
and they're probably past that, I would say, the Cubs, and they just have to do a little rating of their AAA team and a little back and forth there. High strike to Berkman.
Well, DeLeese will end up over 30 pitches on the night. At one time, you didn't worry about that. 30 pitches, okay, you got a job to do tomorrow. But many managers are much more concerned with the investments that they have.
Full count to Berkman. What an inning that was. Wow, that was fun. 12 runs, 10 hits, no errors, thankfully. A couple of missed cutoff men. Fly ball to left. This is slicing towards the stands, and it's out of play. Mr. Bartman caught that one. There was also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra base hits in that inning. And many of those doubles found holes. Ground balls past the bag at 3rd. Fly balls into the corner and right. And that may be another one, and it's fair. Lance Berkman with another Cardinal double to lead off the 8th. And here we go again.
And how many of these doubles have been to the opposite field? Actually, it was a ground rule double as sliced up into the 7 doubles. 7 doubles in ties Major League record for a single inning. Had 7 doubles last inning and a triple.
Ground ball to short. Freeze is retired. He had one of those doubles. He's got 2 on the game. 3 hit night for David. He's still in this game. Now John Jay. He has one of those doubles. Ground ball to third. This one finds Mather, and he throws out his former teammate, John Jay.
Makes it a lot easier to tell us who didn't hit a double than to tell us who did.
Only 2 singles in that inning. Alan Craig had 2 of those doubles, and he entered the game as a pinch hitter. I wonder if they both count as pinch hits. I don't even know that, Al. If you pinch hit and you haven't played in the field yet, I guess that's another pinch hit appearance.
Sounds good to me.
Probably doesn't happen that often.
It has happened, we know that, but you're probably right about extra base hits and same inning for a pinch hitter.
Very rare. Matt Carpenter, 1-0 to him. Cardinals batting in the 8th inning. Ground ball to short. Castro throws low, but Carpenter is retired. We go to the 9th. Cardinals are very comfortably ahead.
Up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, Pat Paris, Cal Eldred are standing by. They'll recap an explosive 7th inning for the Cards where they score 12 runs, a breakdown of Jake Westbrook's night, and MLB's version of the Golden Girls on display today. They'll explain. Trevor Rosenthal comes on for the Cardinals, and we send it back to the booth and Rick and Al, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Rosenthal will pitch to 9th. Looking forward to the post-game show. Jim Hayes said off the air that he hasn't seen so many doubles since the last time he saw Cal Eldred pitch. That's what he said, and I just thought that would be good fodder for the post-game show.
You know, Ricky, we go off the air at the end of this inning.
I'm just repeating
Cal
what
Eldred.
I know.
He will still have the power of the microphone.
But Jim Hayes is the one that told me that.
Yeah, for the record, I did not say that. Cal is huge. Come on, Rick. You're trying to kill me here. I say other stuff about Cal, not that.
I'm just trying to stir the pot, Jim. That's all.
That's what you do.
That's
you
what I do.
You know what Jim just told me?
What did he tell you?
He said, Ricky, if this is like your career, you'll throw this pitch and back up third.
Well, he's right about that. David Freese retires Rizzo, and because he caught that baseball, we're going to give him the Budweiser Player of the Game.
I think it's the 3 for 5.
That helps.
Clevenger will pinch hit. He caught last night's ball game. He's been a good pinch hitter. He was another guy that pitch hit well for the Cubs.
Be very interesting to see what the upside of Rosenthal is too. He has a very strong arm out of the bullpen. We were impressed by him in spring training, and he has very good stuff. This ball hit deep to right though, but Schumacher has a play on it. Trevor Rosenthal is the 2000th Cardinal in the history of the Cardinals to wear the birds on the back. He wins that lucky draw, whatever.
By some accounts.
I understand.
Yes, but no other team has had that many players wear their uniform, and Trevor having a little more of an uneventful outing than his major league debut, which was outstanding. He walked 2, gave up 2 hits, but didn't let him score.
Line drive to left, and the play is not made by Carpenter. Base hit for LaHare with 2 outs. So another turn at the plate for Giovanni Soto.
Trevor Rosenthal went to spring training and really opened up the eyes with, he hit triple digits down there, but they really were more impressed with just his maturity, how respectful he was of the game and the veterans. A sponge, really tried to learn as much as possible. He's from Lee Summit, Missouri.
I like his 100-mile-an-hour fastball myself.
I do too, but a lot of other things to like about him too. He's a starter down at Springfield and had the second best ERA in the Texas League.
Trying to close out a victory in game 2 of this 3-game series. The Cardinals would love a sweep of the Cubbies. There's your score, 12 runs, 7th inning.
Lance Lynn, 1 inning, didn't we?
That's it. All the scoring in 1 inning, 1/2 inning.
You put this game back to back with a game last night, something for the Cardinals to build on. Just a matter of time before they start playing better at home.
Popped up, right side. Jay comes on, calls off the right fielder. Schumacher, they collide. Somebody's got it. Who is it? It's Skip. Game over. Cardinals take game 2. A 16-hit night for the Redbirds. And talk about your clutch hitting. They did it all night long.
Well, I don't know if you talk about clutch hitting. They did strand 9 runners.
Right. But what an outing for Westbrook.
Fun game, and everybody with smiles after this near collision.
Post game coming up next.